So growing up, everybody loved Tom and Jerry. If you didn't, well, you're not accepted on this channel. But when they announced that there would be a Tom and Jerry movie and the first trailer for it dropped and I saw what kind of movie it would be like, I was a bit worried. Now, this movie isn't out yet, but I was lucky enough to see it early. So here is my review on 2021's Tom and Jerry. So the synopsis for this movie is an adaptation of Hanna-Barbera's animated show from whenever it was. I think it might have been 60s, 70s, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. But it's meant to tell the story of how Tom and Jerry met. Now, reading through that synopsis, I only just knew that it was like an origin story now, so it's kind of changed my perspective on it, but let's get into the review. So moving into my pros, the positives for this movie, I'm really clutching at straws here, but it was really nice to see all the old sounds of Tom and Jerry, you know, the cartoons with whenever they hit each other, just all those unrealistic things that happen between the two, the over-exaggerated stuff, those sort of things brought a little bit of nostalgia back, but as I said, I'm clutching at straws, so that's only the real positives I have to say about this movie. And as for the cons, well, it's a bit of a different story to how the pros played out. I mentioned I saw the trailer and I had mixed feelings about it, how they were bringing Tom and Jerry into the real world, how it looked, and the final product, the animation for them looked very poor and quite uncomfortable to look at in this real world. It was always going to be done this way, but just compared to like Space Jam or something like that, it really sticks out like a sore thumb. And I'm gonna say the performances were poor. It's quite hard to do that with what actually goes on in this movie. Stuff which made me cringe is when like Michael Pena is holding an animal. I'm not even gonna say CGI, it's like animated onto the screen. So it was really poor and really uncomfortable and hard to watch at times. You know, the scenes between Tom and Jerry, they were fine, they were good, but when there were humans involved, it was tough to watch as well, and unfortunately that's kind of what happens throughout this whole movie because they treat the humans as the main characters and Tom and Jerry as the side ones. And I mentioned, you know, Tom and Jerry do all these unrealistic things to hurt each other. They did that in the cartoons, but it just doesn't match the environment and feels really out of place, you know. I don't get, because they were always known for fighting in the house, not in a hotel in New York. It didn't actually replicate too much nostalgia on that front. The only real nostalgia was just the sounds and some of the things they do, but in terms of their looks and their location, no nostalgia. But overall, you know, you just get this generic plot. It doesn't have much flavour to it, and as I say, it doesn't really match something you'd be going for in this movie because it can deal with adult-like themes. You know, this is meant to be a kids movie obviously, and it deals with things about marriage and all these type of things which I don't think are suited for the young audience it's targeting. For me, as a long-time Tom and Jerry fan from when I was younger, I'm not going to say I was disappointed because from what I saw from the trailer I didn't have high expectations, but they haven't really done the source material justice. So overall, Tom and Jerry was quite disappointing and didn't really feel like the cartoon at all. Anyone who grew up with it can probably agree with me on that front, and even the younger audience who have seen Tom and Jerry and are going to watch this, they find it hard to draw too many similarities, but it's certainly not the worst movie I've seen this year. So in terms of rating for Tom and Jerry 2021, I'm going to give it a 56%. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know what you thought of Tom and Jerry if you've seen it. As I said, I was lucky enough to see it early. But yeah, please like and comment and subscribe of course, and I hope to see you in my next video.